putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
One of Hollywood's biggest power brokers is out of a job. Harvey Weinstein fired from his own company on Sunday as allegations of sexual abuse pile up around him following an expose in the New York Times. The 65-year-old movie exec had earlier taken a leave of absence, but the board of Weinstein Company made the decision to fire him, quote, in light of new information about misconduct that has emerged in the past few days. His departure leaves his brother Bob and COO David Glasser in charge. Weinstein helped make movies like Shakespeare in Love in Chicago. He's also a big backer of liberal causes and donated to Democrats during the 2016 election. The company says it's running its own internal investigation after the Times reported Weinstein had settled with at least 8 women who accused him of sexual harassment going back decades.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The dude who broke the big news that the Harvey Weinstein story is huge. It's huge up in here. I'm glad to be able to impart some knowledge. And this is so big, and the reason why it's so big, well, I mean, I've already given you lots of reasons why, but I'm going to give you some more. The reasons why this is so big is because it has political implications. People are saying, should they have to turn in their donations, give their donations, but like that's going to dissolve you of all the affiliation you have with Harvey Weinstein. And you then get to say, well, okay, so what? I knew that he was, molesting women and sexually harassing them. I've given the money back. Leave me alone. No, you don't get off that easily. It isn't as simple as, oh, well, we gave back all the money. And then you listen to the DNC. They're like, well, we gave back part of it. Well, why didn't you give back all of it? Well, we just don't feel like we need to give back it all because Harvey does have some redeeming quality. So we figured, we weighed it out and it was 80% give it back and 20% keep it. So we kept 20%. Okay. Just twisted logic. These people are so, it's just amazing. In fact, we have a discussion about this, don't we? Because I know they just did. That was the BBC, not BBC, British news that we played the clip earlier. Here's Jake Tapper talking to some senator about it, and just see what they have to say.
The SCC, the Senate arm, and the DCCC, the congressional arm, the House arm, are not giving all the Weinstein money back. Do you think that all that Weinstein money, we're talking here about more than $400,000, needs to be returned or donated to charity by all the arms of the Democratic Party?
Yeah, I think that probably makes sense. I mean, this is a pretty bad guy who did some really awful things. And, if people need for that money to be returned in order to make it clear that the entities that receive them want nothing to do with him and his behavior, then, that's probably a smart move. But, let's be honest, we take tens of thousands of contributions. I don't require a background check to contribute to my campaign. And so there are probably lots of people with unsavory backgrounds and past who have given to both Democrats and Republicans. But this was a high-profile individual who did some truly awful things, and people that took money from him should probably give it back.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. You might have been fooled by that senator when he says, look, we can't know what everybody does in our campaigns. I mean, come on. We get hundreds of thousands, if not thousands of donors who donate all the time. And you're like, that is true, Kevin. That is true, black man. He gets a lot of donations. How can he know? He can't know everybody. He's right. He's exactly right. And I know you guys are shocked. Kevin's actually agreeing with this guy. Yeah, except that everybody knew about Harvey. What say you now, Senator? What say you now? Where's your God now, Moses? Where's your God now? Huh? See? He can pass that off on the layman. He ain't fooling Kevin Jackson, one of the logic dudes. See, my degrees are in logic. Not in, well, he can't possibly know all your donors. I know you can't possibly know all your donors. They're like $10, $15 donors, $1,000. When you're appearing in public and you've got a guy that, whether Michelle Obama herself says, well, Harvey, he's a great guy. Let's just play that clip again.
I want to start by thanking Harvey Weinstein for organizing this amazing day. Harvey, this is possible because of Harvey. He is a wonderful human being, a good friend, and just a powerhouse.
Now, that was the First Lady of the United States. She knows what Harvey is about. Donald Trump came on and asked him about it. He said, Donald Trump was like, no surprise. No surprise. If you are walking in the Hollywood circles that the Obamas, the Clintons, and even Donald Trump did when he had his successful show, you knew about Harvey Weinstein. Everybody knew. And it was one of those things where, hey, that's Hollywood. I mean, let's just be honest about it. That's Hollywood. We all know it. You know, there's gambling in the casino. That's Hollywood. That's what this was about. And so now the cat's out of the bag. And there was a lady, a former Fox reporter, not like regular, not the big Fox, but like a local reporter. She was covering something on Harvey Weinstein, went to some event, and this dude, I'm going to be as delicate about this as I can. He diddled with himself, trapped her in a room and diddled with himself, if you know what I'm saying. And here's her on Megyn Kelly's new show recounting it. And I want you to see just how bad this guy is. Listen to her story.
I called you the next day at your TV station. Didn't have your phone number. That's what you say. And how did that go?
That was so crazy because the next day after I fled, basically, he called my station. They said, I have Harvey Weinstein on the line for you. And my heart sank. And he said, I just want to let you know, I had a great time last night. Excuse me? Yeah, I had a great time last night. I'm going away overseas on a trip. I would love to see you again, if that's something we could do. I said, absolutely not. I told you yesterday, I have a very serious boyfriend. Absolutely not. And I'm pretty sure I just hung up the phone quickly after. It was a very short conversation, but that was the most shocking part.
So let me elaborate, because I thought I'd given it enough of a, in prelude, but I didn't. Anyway, this is the Kevin Jackson Show, for those of you who are just tuning in. And that was Lauren Siven, S-I-V-E-N, a Fox News reporter, who was at an event. Harvey Weinstein, he comes up to her and he's propositioning her, and he's being creepy, as people have described him. And she goes into a room and he goes in behind her and blocks her exit from the door and begins, it's a sexual activity that does not involve her. Okay. That's as delicately as I can put that. And forces her to watch and says something along the lines of, just shut up and watch. Or can't you just shut up and watch? It was something like that as I was reading the story. Then when he, done, she leaves and she's all, like, what the heck is this about? And can you imagine what's going through her mind, what she must be thinking? So she leaves. The next day, this fool calls and talks to her like he's been on a date. Can we do it again? Can we go out again? I'm leaving to go out of town, but when I get back, can we go? Do you understand how distorted your mind has to be to where you believe that kind of behavior is okay? It doesn't even register to him that was bad. I want to stop. Honestly, if you can understand that, you understand Hollywood. When you get away with things for so long, when you hold that kind of power, when you wield that kind of power, you lose yourself. This guy sees what we all look at as abhorrent behavior. To be blunt, I couldn't even conjure up that something that vile, that crazy in my mind to do under any circumstances. And here's a guy that does it, makes a phone call to her office saying, hey, had a lovely time. You think these guys met on Match.com, went out and had the perfect date where he was pulling her chair out and, vibrant conversation, and they were, had a amazing food and dessert, a glass of wine, had a little kiss at the, at her door. And she leaves like she's in La La Land, and he goes, she could be Mrs. Right. And he calls the next day, and this fool is married. This fool is married. Calls the next day. I got to go out of town, going to overseas. When we get back, I was hoping we could go out and have another date. What did Bugs Bunny used to say, a malouk or something? I forget, but this guy, that tells you the level of debauchery that is in Hollywood, folks, that quite frankly, dangerous levels. I wouldn't let my kids there for any reason.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.